presenter is Redefining Healthcare Through Technology. He's the CEO of Tekdev with groundbreaking work in Saudi Arabia and Pakistan. He stands at the intersection of innovation and impact. Please welcome Dr. Aamir Mahmood on the stage.
A presentation where you could understand what actually healthcare and AI is all about, the relationship between AI and healthcare. So the first presentation that I made, I had to scrape it out because the reason is I thought this is becoming too tech savvy. So I wanted to bring this to an audience where, like myself, they could I could narrate it to them. They can understand the meaning of AI in healthcare. They could relate to it through personal experiences or the experiences that are right in front of them, and then retain it. So that's how we wanted to build this relationship today. So if you look into the health industry, I see a lot of diversity. Diversity in terms of that the population that being served by the number of healthcare professionals that exist and the number of deficiencies that are there. So if you look into the deficiencies that are there, out of the total population that is in the world is about 9 billion. The thing is that what I wanted to emphasize is that still we have a lot of deficiencies in terms of the people that are being served. Achha, so let's just restart. So what has happened is that what I was emphasizing is basically the deficiency of human as medical professionals are there in the healthcare industry that exist. So talking about AI replacement of this medical industry, is that what we are looking for? So the approach of the healthcare industry is all about being patient-centric. So next. Patients, everything is about the patients. So healthcare industry has different verticals that we are looking into, the sub-verticals. So we talk about the hospital and the health system. We talk about health and tech IT. We talk about the advisory services that are being offered and rendered to the healthcare market. We talk about the health systems, the payers, the insurance providers, and also the pharma industry. If you look into this, is about nearly $10 trillion industry right now, being served about 9 billion population, being served by a handful of professionals, in which, according to WHO, still the deficiency of over 10 million exists. Now, in 1996, what happened was Bill Clinton administration passed a law which was known as Health Insurance Portability Accountability Act, which was HIPAA. HIPAA brought in the value of the health systems into the complete healthcare vertical. What was health system doing actually? It was capturing the information of the medical records of the patients that were there in the entire world. Next. Now looking into the global health business market, what transpired was that we found that out of the $10 trillion that we were looking into, health insurance and biopharmaceuticals and pharmaceuticals and medical devices were leading. But if you look at from the end user perspective, the knowledge of the value-based care grew over time. In the regime of Obama, it came as the Obamacare and the ACOs, where the value was given more preference over the volume. So pharmaceuticals and biopharmaceuticals came as the number two in terms of the end user, and hospital and retail pharmacies, they were there as part of the thing. The other is where we stand today, looking into the AI into healthcare. Next. So if you look into the market of healthcare paid distribution, we see that it's about 1 trillion today, and we see a phenomenal growth of about 2 trillion going on to the next 10 years and so. From the healthcare business perspective, if we see the top 6 are basically going into millions, and that contribute to about $1 trillion industry. That is all first 6 are basically coming from the payer or the insurance background. HCA Healthcare goes into the hospital. Then the Fresenius Group is coming into the medical into the renal side, the kidney side, pharmaceuticals, and then the tenet is again the hospital group. The pharmaceutical leaders are broadly defined into, to make the understanding much more apparent, is that into pharmaceutical, the core pharmaceutical, the clinical products that are being manufactured synthetically, And those products that are basically manufactured as part of the living organism research base are the biopharmaceuticals that we are bringing into the market. And these are all basically combining into $1 billion industry. Now, understanding patient journey is always a very complex part. From the patient coming into the hospital to get a schedule or coming as registered and going either to OPD, to IPD, to ER, ending up ER and getting all the different tests done is throughout the time that the patient is finally ultimately discharged in one way or the other. That's all because of a complex journey that is operable within the hospital and integrated in a seamless manner. If you look into it, now the AI has played a very incremental role in defining the journey by itself. The human, so there are two kinds of jobs that AI is interested to do. One is through robotic process automation. One is that unattended jobs are being done, and then there are attended jobs which are being done. The attended jobs are which are basically done at the time of scheduling, registration, discharge. So basically you're following just the KPIs. The unattended jobs are those where the medical data is retained within the systems, and then the algorithms work and intelligence comes out of it. The right word pointed out was the augmented reality that is coming out of the humans that are being translated into the intelligence. So moving from now that we have looked into healthcare, the numbers, so let's just move on to understand what is artificial intelligence. So if you understand artificial intelligence, what it says is that it is the ability of a machine that is performing tasks based on some data provided to them, which reasons, which learns and does the problem solving. Now, what is actually artificial mind then doing? It is trying to replace or acquire a seamless intelligence from the human mind, and it is a simulation. Now, what it does it without fail, like the human has to sleep, the mind over here, the artificial mind will continue to work and will continue to provide you with the decision-making power. Now, one of the things that I was pointing out in a seminar hosted by Indus Hospital was that do you want to leave the decision on the computer to decide what you want to do with a human body or a life in a critical situation? No. I would like to gather more information to give me an informed decision. Next. Now, looking back into the history, because this is a very important development that 60, 70 years ago, artificial intelligence word was inducted into a discussion which laid the foundation of what is artificial intelligence can do or what it can do in healthcare. Now, it was a research, some scientists gathered together, the word intelligence comes in, and then we start building up the patterns. The patterns actually are basically the rules that are allowed and helps to formulate certain conditions and certain results out of it. So by 1970, we heard the word of mycin, which actually started the development of the antibiotics being prescribed and to which organisms these antibiotics are being sensitive is basically covered over there. So between the era, the next 30 years actually is ruled by the universities in US and in UK, that they are basically doing a lot of research, and that is like building up the supercomputers. Stanford University was the leader in that, and they started building the super health computer, and that was laid, the first day of that computer was 1984, when actually started giving the decision and making empowerment for the doctors. And then the next era between 2000 to 2015, what we see is the interoperability that comes in. The interoperability defines that the basic and the biggest systems are working in isolation. Those silos were to be broken down and they were to be connected in a way that the interoperable environment brought in the data at a centralized place, and where you could get a better look at the disease, better control and what is happening. So all that kind of understanding came with the clinical decision support system, and that came in 2000 to 2015. So today, what we are looking into is that the intelligence is now targeting towards the precision medicine. Now, precision medicine is that you want to be very specific on what is being provided and as a problem. How do you want to solve that problem, and what is the data which is going to help you solve and eradicate the problem? Naturally, that is being provided by the intelligence, by a lot of data, lot of algorithms which are written, and that supports us in many ways. So this artificial intelligence, so the first question comes to mind, is artificial intelligence intelligent? Is it a doctor? Is it a strategist? Or is it a marketing expert? No. So let me just take you back to 1996. And if I ask you a question, do you know who Garry Kasparov was? Anybody, any idea? He was a chess player and he was one of the world's smartest person at that time. In 1996, Deep Blue was introduced to play chess with him. And the result was 3 games he won, 2 were drawn, 1 lost. 1997, Deep Blue comes back. Now, what is the result? Kasparov wins the first game, plays 2 draws, and the supercomputer Deep Blue wins 3. Now what happens actually? 2. So what happens actually? It has actually learned. So what has it learned? Now the computer has become a very eager student. He has got the ability to do the research on what Garry Kasparov does or what he actually is so masterful in. He computes on all the information that is gathered, he analyzes, he responds to the moves that he was taking, and then he was giving intelligent outputs. Now this is a very smart way of performing and progressing as far as AI is concerned. Now that we know that actually Garry Kasparov was challenged and beaten by a supercomputer, what happens next? How does AI actually works? AI works in a very unique pattern. It works on data. It is not intelligent, and I can tell you that we make it intelligent. So it has data. Data actually builds out the algorithms. Algorithms actually helps us understand the environment. The environment processes the information by gathering the information. The information, when it's gathered, it allows you to achieve goals. The goals are actually scalable in terms of how it adopts, scales, it improves performance, and ultimately that is where it is. The exposure that it gets, it basically harnesses, and then it moves into actually going into development. Now, I have designed myself and developed the world's biggest project, which is Hajj. And my application has been used for 7 years in all the hospitals and systems. So when you look into the algorithm, this is what I did for WHO. So we were actually controlling the entire EWARS, the early warning sign and symptoms through the intelligence. And this was not the first time. So I built the same thing in US and I built before, but this kind of an environment was actually much more helpful and we got a lot of recognition for it. Now, how does the implementation in AI works? Doctors are very fond of asking, dard kab hui, kahan hui, kaise hui, kis tarah hui, kisne theek kiya, kya aapne dawai li, and all those things. So the entire ambit of that is basically building all the right questions are being asked accordingly. Now, we as an AI developer and designer of applications, I have to look into the platform, what the platform is going to be, what my market is going to be, and what my solution is going to be. And obviously, it's all about people. I have to take in the HIPAA into account. I have to take the governance model into account. My ability to actually make sure the data is secured, the data remains private, there is no breach. It covers all the different aspects, and all that through healthcare, artificial intelligence in healthcare is very important. These are figures from the statista.com, but I still feel they are tainted because many companies are still the technology companies. They are not artificial intelligence company, but the numbers are still growing very fast and much bigger than what they are reflected as over here. Another very big example is IBM, Watson, the healthcare version. On the public side, I was privileged enough to be given a chance to challenge, compete, and beat in 2015 Saudi Arabia, the public health system of IBM Healthcare Watson. And the process is very simple. Gather data, process, analyze, make treatment, make this information readily available. We did all that. So the point for me, I cannot compete IBM, but I can compete the intelligence that is because I know what I need to get. Now there are different type of software there are different type of softwares that are available. And besides doing the record management, besides doing the drug and biological research survey, I like to mention this software because I met a doctor in biopharmaceutical, and we were talking about it. So recursion is one thing that is actually focusing on the cell type, that what actually a cancerous cell is going to look like or behave like. So that is the research, and that what artificial intelligence is bringing in. If you look into the radiology management, phenomenal work. The amount of work that they have shown, that displayed, is phenomenal. You cannot imagine how good and precise now they're becoming. But if you look into few that I would like to say, Diabeloop is all about insulin and relationship to diabetes. If you look into skin vision, it's all about diagnosing cancers in dermatological conditions, and they are absolutely wonderful to see. WooBoot is a psychiatric AI application. These are the use cases that are established in the market and actually saying that artificial intelligence works. And artificial intelligence works because it is helping us design and look into it. But what we are lacking in Pakistan is what I want to just emphasize. Ghana is using LLM, large language models, in actually making an artificial intelligence to study the medicinal plants. But in Pakistan, we are not putting that much R&D investment into it, that we actually look into doing something which is going to bring the regional side of it in play. Because whatever US has, it is US data. We need to have Pakistan data. So that is something missing. Looking into the tradition side of it, the medical library set up, digital medical library of India, and the working on the Ayurvedics and genome to study and to see the efficacy of the medicine over there is phenomenal. But the most important things are, if you look into it, that if an epilepsy is not diagnosed because of a reason or for a tumor, 64% of the cases which were missed by doctors were found to be actually identified as the thing that we are looking into through artificial intelligence support. Next, please. So patient-centric, personalized, timeliness, data-driven, enhanced experience, these are the benefits of AI. I would leave the challenges, but the most important thing is the challenges are all driven by you have to put some time into study. You have to wait. You don't want to make just money. You want to just make sure that there is something coming out of it. Next. I could not end the presentation without speaking, without not speaking about marketing. So strategizing healthcare growth through marketing in a map forum would be a crime, and I don't want to do that. The scalability and the seamless part of it, this is being sold by AI in healthcare. You don't want to sell a medical lab equipment to a doctor and asking him to do 10,000 CBCs when the machine can do it. So there is a relationship between your thought process and what you are going to sell to doctors. So these are the simple things, lot of tools over there, you can look into it. Paradigm shift is very important. No more KPIs. Since we have less time, so I'm just going to rush through it. No more KPIs. We want to talk about objectives. We want to talk about key results. We don't want to talk about KPIs that you will come to the office on time and blah, blah, blah. But what we're looking for is objective and key results. Artificial intelligence brings key results in play. You need to understand and drive accordingly. So what do you think is the most important message in this screen? Anybody from the audience? So the most important message, besides all the numbers, besides all the data, besides all the algorithms that I'm showing, is the human. You cannot have artificial intelligence in healthcare without the human. Without the human, you can, empathy comes from human. Non-linear relationship comes from human. Complexity comes from human. And AI is basically what you're trying to do. The AI should be helping you, not competing with you. And that's the takeover. So, thank you so much. Sorry for the presentation being mucked up a little, but that's how it is. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir. It was really brilliant presentation, and
Gigi.
so please stay on this stage.
The research-based product from a biopharmaceutical comes as a lifesaver. It comes over a period of time. आपको पता है कि during our medicine it was first the frogs and then the guinea pigs and then the humans. There is a time and there is a place for everything. Now you should, and this is still, Pakistan should start investing into R&D. We lack R&D. We are seeing, we are doing this, we are buying solutions from abroad, we are not waiting. We are not building things up. We have to build things up. We have smartest brains over here, but those brains are drained and they move out because we are not giving them time. We are not giving them equipment. One of the biggest challenge that I'm getting is right now is the high computational power. The prices of those machines are so phenomenally high that for building a small LLM, I have to have a 20-25 lakh रुपए का refurbish survey. So that's how the numbers go. And that's a lot of investment. That's a payroll, a couple of months payroll for a lot of companies. So you got to look into from the perspective of what you are actually looking for. You want to grow, you want to make money, or you want to grow over a period of time where dynasty has to be written. So that's my take. A lot of good work still, besides all the challenges exist.
Thank you, sir, once again. Please, Iftihar Tasa, please join stage with Saab, Hamid Saab and Dr. Shahid. Please join us to present the souvenir. So, Suhail Ifran Saab, please come join us.